Caesar's kit is out, kind of, and things look barely translatable. In today's video we will sit down and break down her gameplay. This is going to be updated over time and might not seem ideal, it's just me telling what she's capable of. Caesar is a defense agent. Her job as a defender are being a hybrid with a stun and support with like characters with a decent amount of daze capabilities of shielding and buffing the team. For example, Seth is a shielder that can also debuff enemies anomaly resistance and buff allies anomaly proficiency by 50 to 100. Meanwhile, Caesar is a tanky parry oriented stunner with the support capabilities. She has high daze, provides shield, and debuffs enemies to make them eat up more damage. Her core mechanic is basically parrying. Her normal attack has 5 strings. Each string deals physical damage. If you hold her attack button, you'll throw a shield on her hand in front of her, dealing physical damage as well. If the shield is back, you can press her special to deal damage, or if you press her special while the energy bar is filled, at the right time she will be triggering a combo that launches a special skill or X special skill and it will connect to her attack string. At first you might find her hit multipliers are kind of dealing a low damage, but the idea here is to land her 5th attack string to deal both damage and daze multiplier. Her dodge is one of her core mechanics as well, but we will get to that later in the video. However, the damage and daze multiplier seem like they're off. You can easily tell what her job is. When she uses her dodge attack, you will use the shield to strike forward to cause physical damage. During this move, the damage received will be reduced by 40%. However, when you're attacked by the enemy, you will block with her shield and be knocked back. If you press her special or X special, you will also trigger a combo moveset that are from her special or X special. If you use her basic during dodge, she will slash forward. And again, the damage multiplier may not seem massive for now, but her job isn't exactly to deal high amount of damage. Her special move, parry and counter attack, uses her shield to strike forward if you're attacked by an enemy. During the block activation, you will proc precision block, which will make her immune to damage and give herself a shield. After that move is activated, Caesar will enter a blocking stance during which the damage she receives is reduced by 40%. Since her whole kit is heavily focused around her parrying, what can we do exactly to proc it? Are we going to wait for an enemy to attack us? Well, not specifically in Caesar's case. In Caesar, you can proc her parry in multiple ways. Getting hit while using her skill, getting hit while using dash attack, after perfect assist follow-up, and catching your shield throw with your basic hold. So she really isn't reliant on enemies to attack her. I think it's really clear where she can shine, because even while parrying, her impact and crit rate is increased by 30%, and on a parry follow-up, she grants the entire squad a shield that scales off her impact that lasts for 90 seconds, and on top of that, she gives the squad resistance to getting knocked back. Whenever we look at chain multipliers, we always get excited and hyped up about it, and with Caesar she's no exception. However, while the chain has a great multiplier, I don't see the point at all in using it unless your main DPS is down or your sub DPS is down. But to be fair, it isn't going to hopefully ever happen to you unless you're doing a terrible job. Since her job is significant and she parries majority of the time and blocks and even provides shield, I don't see that ever happening. Usually the main DPS bursts have multipliers that are higher than any other character. That's why you don't even bother to level up the burst of these characters, unless in the future maybe we see some changes from Hoyoverse and we might think that she's going to be useful with her chain? Maybe? I don't know. But to be fair, right now she's very heavily oriented around her skill, so I wouldn't highly encourage anyone to use or even level up her burst at the moment, at least unless we see changes. Who knows, maybe tomorrow we get a nerf, maybe we get a buff. You never know what happens with Hoyoverse at the end of the day. Now that we have talked about her core skills and what she does, let's talk about her core passive, which is basically her core passive 1, and it states that if she activates parry and slash or her finishing move, she provides an entire team with a shield that is equal to 150% to 700% of her own impact. Additionally, she adds 50 to 2000 points on Caledonian shield, which lasts for 90 seconds. The shield value of Caledonian shield is shared by the entire team and is only deducted when the enemy attacks your allies. During the existence of Caledonian shield, the on-field characters are going to be regarded as holding the shield, and their anti-interruption resistance is increased. Now this alone in itself seems very good, and in theory this is perfect. Nothing wrong with it. She's doing a job that is meant for her specifically, which is not allowing enemies to attack you while you're doing your damage. This is the spiciest part about her kit, her second core passive, which is basically if the character on field activates parry and support, which is her switch by the way, or the character is in the same faction as Caesar, when she triggers precision block, combo, or activates parry and support, she will mark enemies within 6 meters to herself, increasing the damage caused to them by the entire team for 25% for 20 seconds. Meaning, if she uses parry and support, she will trigger a taunt on these enemies, and they will be marked within 6 meters from herself. These marked enemies will have 25% extra damage dealt to them. Consider it as a mark that locks on a target and reduces their defense for 25% for 20 seconds. This is an excellent core and it might be undervalued by a lot of people, but if we keep in mind that majority of the agents that we have right now aren't focusing on building pen ratio, but rather whatever boosts the specific agent's damage, let it be alone, anomaly or attack, I can see Caesar being highly favored in comps of anomaly. And even attack as well, don't get me wrong. When we use attack type, we usually focus on the squad formation that is attack, stun, and support. But now with Caesar, thanks to her buff, we can see the attack, stun, and defense working. Although the buff might not be a massive one compared to using a support for your team, we can take Driwan, Genie, and Nicole. We can see Caesar fit in there to provide both a buff and anti-interruption resistance to your allies, making her a good in some scenarios and maybe even favored a tiny bit towards endgame for your squad to deal a good damage and at the same time have the defense that they need. There is somewhat of a confusion on her second core passive from my end. Maybe I'm not understanding it correctly, or it is what I'm about to explain. I'm going to leave this as a second scenario and it might not be the case, but I'm just putting it as just in case. She needs someone that can use parry when they switch with Caesar. Every character except ranged ones can do that, because if we reread the text, it says, when she triggers precision block, combo, or activates parry and support, she will mark the enemies, meaning that she needs someone with her that is in the party that can activate that parry. Otherwise, I'm not sure myself. Majority of the agents that we have that aren't ranged can do that, so keep that in mind. She can make use out of that passive as well, unless I'm understanding it wrong completely, and if it's not the case and she can use parry and support on her own, then we can get rid of the second part. But as of now, this needs to be mentioned, otherwise in case it's wrong, I don't want my name to be used as reference, because again, these things are very difficult to understand. The translations are rough and I'm trying to make sense out of it, at least to make a video for you guys. And in case you're not going to use G1, you can actually use Soldier 11 or even Nekomata, because these two units are melee and they can actually trigger the second core passive that Caesar has. And again, this is just an early explanation to her kit. I don't know how good this will be. In theory, it seems amazing, but when you play the game, this thing changes completely. I can see her fitting really well, and I can imagine how good she fits in any type of team. However, this is just an explanation as of now. Maybe tomorrow we see changes, I really don't know. And obviously, the new driver disc is going to be tailored for her needs. It boosts your shield value by 15%, and when you trigger a defensive assist or an evasion assist, the set will increase the day's damage by 15%. And on top of that, if the shielded ally is attacked, all squad members will inflict 18% more damage and gain 12% more days damage for 20 seconds. So already we see what type of playstyle she's going to be headed towards. And again, this is very perfect for her playstyle since she's heavily focused on parrying and assisting and getting out and in fast. So most likely she's going to be a quick swap that's going to apply debuffs on the enemy and obviously going to switch out, so she helps the squad that you're playing in already. And obviously she's going to use 2-piece Shockstar as well, since she grants the entire squad a shield that scales off her impact, and obviously the stability of the shield is based on her impact, plus her W engine is going to give more impact, so it's going to help her a lot if in case you want more shield stability with her, so 2-piece Shockstar can work. And in case you're not going to get her weapon, the best weapon choice that you're going to use, which is an A rank, is going to be Original Transformer. You can get it from standard banner or you can actually craft it, as you can see here in the screen. It can boost your HP by 8%, and when you're attacked, it increases your impact by 10%. However, if we change it, your impact is going to be increased by 16%. We're gonna forget about the max HP part. We're gonna keep an eye on the 16% impact. Mainly because, if you remember, her shield relies on impact. I think overall, Hoyo cooked a very nice character, great defender, and I don't think there's any complaints about her. She feels nice, she feels like someone that you could replace with someone else for something that is valuable, that is defensive, and at the same time debuffing the enemy. So overall, I think she's going to be really unique and valuable in many accounts. And that's it, we've reached the end. Thank you for watching the video. Hopefully I've earned your subscription today. If I did not, make sure you write a comment down in the comment section below and let me know what I said wrong. Again, these translations are very rough and I'm trying to make sense out of them. so forgive me from now if there was any type of mistake. That will fall on my behalf as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I see you in the next one.